as the government shutdown continues into likely November, food stamps are now on the chopping block. People's food stamps start getting re-upped on Friday or Monday. But because of the Trump administration decision, we can put up E1, this is an arguable point. According to Democrats, because of a Trump administration decision not to use funds that are available in an emergency for SNAP benefits, they will be lapsing for the next month. You can put up E1 here. This is New York. Hunger and cold looms as shutdown imperils funding for anti-poverty programs. And so you have this now bipartisan push to save SNAP benefits because over 40 million people rely on these benefits, and many of those people, we're now as many of our viewers will know who scrape by to get to the end of the month. We're at the end of the month now, and so people are kind of holding their breath, hanging on, waiting for things to come in on the first of the month. And when that doesn't happen, and you can't catch a breath, your only choice then becomes like hitting these food banks, which are now massively overstretched as a result of
especially where we are in the DMV, because people have been out of paycheck now for 28 days. It's grim out here.
Yes,
from what I have been told, food banks and more. This, by the way, the federal workers are at least going to get their money back. There's all kind of downstream effects here in our economy. I mean, this is super local.
It's dicey for contractors. Like if you
the contractors don't get paid,
right?
But then think about I talked to my barber, right? I was like, hey, how's business? He's like, it's horrible. Nobody's going to work, so they don't need a haircut. And he's like, I don't get back pay, right?
Right.
So
he's not going to.
I mean, multiply that by like 20 across all kinds of different. I don't know, the lunch places, small businesses, the guys at the Pentagon who sell hot dogs. Like everybody is taking a bath. I know most people watching this don't care, but it's just locally.
It's not just DC.
You can understand.
Federal workers are all over the country.
It's 2 million people. Yeah. The 2 million people are not getting paid. That's huge. I mean, banks, mortgage payments. Like there's all kinds of cascading effects throughout the system. Let's go and put the next one up on the screen, because this does highlight some of the bipartisanship around this. Senator Josh Hawley wrote this op-ed, "No American should go to bed hungry." Here he proposes the federal government's been shut down for 28 days too long. Congress must not let that happen. And he is now co-sponsoring, or has now introduced a bill, Ryan, which would kind of one-shot funding immediately for the SNAP program, which actually itself has a ton of Republican co-sponsors. Let's put that one up next, please. So you can see here, wide variety. James Lankford, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, Marsha Blackburn, Bernie Moreno, Kevin Cramer, Bill Cassidy, Katie Boyd, John Cornyn, John Hunstead, and Peter Welch. So you have one Democrat there, but I believe many other Democrats would support at least some sort of SNAP immediate funding. It doesn't, though, appear as if that's going to make its way through Congress. And there seems to be some brinksmanship right now between the congressional leaders, where Mike Johnson and others, they want SNAP not to go out because they want pressure to go on the Democrats to fold.
Right.
Vice versa, by the way, from the Democrats, is they don't want it to come out because they want the Republicans to fold to them. I don't know. I mean, we're coming up on that November 1st potential deadline. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, so on the Senate Democratic side, you saw an interesting kind of political tactical shift, where just last week, Senator John Thune, a Republican, was saying, well, let's selectively just open a few pieces of the government. Wouldn't that be fair? So that and then we can continue hashing this out. And Schumer at the time said, no, all or nothing. Extend the subsidies for Obamacare, do a CR for the end of the year, and then we're done. Schumer has now flipped, and Schumer is now pushing for these individual votes around things like this to say, because they think that they for whatever reason, Schumer now thinks that that's to their tactical advantage. And then I think he also probably assumes that Republicans are now going to be on the blocking side of it, because Mike Johnson has, if you remember, he adjourned the House so as not to have to...
And no votes, no Epstein vote, no swearing in.
So as not to have an Epstein vote, and so as not to swear in Adelita Grijalva, Raul Grijalva's daughter, who won her seat in a special election. Think about this. The 700,000 people in this country elected a member of Congress in a special election and Mike Johnson is just refusing to swear her in. Like, that's constitutional crisis level stuff. He's like, well, don't worry about it. We'll get to it eventually. You're starting to get pressure from people like MTG and others who are like, what are we doing? Like, why are we still out of session? Like, we're elected to be in Congress. Like, gavel us back in. So if when Grijalva is finally sworn in, that will be the 218th vote they need to force an Epstein vote. And so I think Schumer also sees like, okay, well, they're not even in session, so there's no risk of them actually doing this. And if they go forward with the SNAP benefits, that's good for Democrats because then we can last longer because there's less pressure on us. So Schumer has now shifted on that. But there's also a legal strategy underway. If we can put up E4, 25 states are suing the Trump administration because it's actually not obvious that the program's out of money. Like, the way it's been reported in the press is like, oh, because of the government shutdown, SNAP benefits aren't going to be paid. Well, yes and no. There's a contingency fund that has been set up by Congress precisely for these shutdown scenarios so that payments keep going out. Russ Vought, unsurprising to anybody who knows Russ Vought, is interpreting it such that he doesn't have to give the money out. We can put up E5. So this is from Elizabeth Warren posted this. This has since been deleted from the government website, but as Trump's own government website said, OMB's general counsel provided a letter to USDA May 23rd, 2025, stating that there is a bona fide need to obligate benefits for October, the first month of the fiscal year, during or prior to the month of September, thereby guaranteeing that benefit funds are available for program operations even in the event of a government shutdown. So that is a very important fact of this conversation to understand. It is not, according to that reading, the shutdown that is preventing food stamps from getting doled out. It is an explicit decision by Russ Vought and by the Trump administration to withhold it in order to put extra pressure on Democrats. And also, I think Russ Vought just likes to withhold money, right?
Yeah.
That's a fair.
Well,
I don't know if he would object to that.
I think their pressure, I mean, if you statistically would look at it, and who are going to be the most dependent on food stamps, I mean, actually don't know, considering the way that things have aligned more recently, but traditionally that would be more of a Democratic constituency.
But not necessarily still the case.
I was going to say, I don't think it's really the case
children.
anymore.
What people need to understand is it's overwhelmingly people with children, like well over 90%. These are
Well, yeah, why don't you go into that, Ryan? I'm seeing a lot of right-wing people like, I can't believe 42 million people are on food stamps. These people are all bums and on welfare. What is
these are kids. I grew up on food stamps, raised by a single mom, so we would get EBT, and there's only certain things you can buy at the grocery store with it. Actually, for my 18th birthday, I got to use the card.
Here, I have the key. They have the eligibility criteria. Household grossly month income must be at or below 30% of the federal poverty level. House net income,
which for a family of four, that's go ahead.
Right, yeah. So then resources and asset limits. Households without a member of 60 plus must generally have assets at or below a set limit. Households with a member of 60 plus with disabilities may have higher resource limits. To be eligible, households must be U.S. citizens, lawfully permanent non-citizens. Many able-bodied adults without dependents must meet work or training requirements. There are exemptions for people who are pregnant and elderly disabled. A household for SNAP means a group of people who live together, purchase and prepare food together. Some states have specific rules for students. So generally, it's looks like 130% of the federal poverty level.
Which for a family of four is about $40,000.
Okay, so that's not a lot of money.
It's not a lot of money at all. And the asset. So yeah, 42,000. You have to. 42,000 is the most you can make for a family of four in order to get these very modest benefits. We're not talking like huge amounts of money here that you can spend at the grocery store. And the asset limits that they're talking about are also incredibly draconian. So like if let's say you inherit like $7,000 from say your great aunt dies or something, boom, you're out of the program. Just because you briefly went over. It's kind of anti-American in the way that it, or an un-American in the way that it
how so?
Holds people back. Like if you try to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, which people are always being told to do, and you have a successful couple of months, all of a sudden, because you now have $3,000 or whatever dollars in the bank, you lose everything. Lose whatever medical benefits you were getting. You lose your food stamps.
But you should phase out at some point.
You might phase out at some point, but we don't have a system that really phases out at some point. We have this system of cliffs and all of a sudden, you're going to lose your energy assistance because you had this one good month or something. So you have a much greater risk of losing everything if you have a little bit of success. So a lot of people are like, well, I better just do nothing and just stay here underneath this thing so I don't.
Kind of damned if you do, if you damned if you don't. And I don't disagree with you. I think
which is crazy.
Phase out.
Yeah, it should be a phase out.
Yeah.
It clearly should be a phase out so that you are incentivized. You earn $1,000 over this limit. All right, make it a tax. You give 20% back,
whatever,
like something that still incentivizes you to go out rather.
You're sounding like a Republican right now about how it incentivizes people to stay in the poverty.
Well, it's fine. It's like,
but
no,
it is. That's why I thought it was because unfortunately I always see this happen. It's like you get Reagan era talking points around welfare, and I think what people actually don't understand is how insanely poor you have to be to receive this.
Like, it's like $42,000 for a family.
What do we talk about here on the show? And by the way, the fact that there are 42 million people who are making less than $40,000 a year and can't afford,
and most of them with kids.
Insane.
Like to get it without kids is really hard.
Yeah, I mean,
and you get like $12 a month. If you're like a single adult, 35 years old.
You and I know the unit cost of diapers and any of this. Good luck, actually. That is one where it is fascinating. I think that on the Snap, around the discourse around Snap. Originally, if you'll recall, there was some Maha elements to try and to reform Snap to get away from sweetened drinks and sugar and processed food. However, I recently also saw a study that many people who eat at home end up eating higher calorie food, and it's because they buy processed food from the grocery store in some cases and will binge eat based upon that. So our whole food system, everything is so screwed up. The only way to even get around it would be literally some authoritarian, we're about to do a segment about China, some authoritarian level. So actually, RFK Jr. at one point proposed that organic healthy food be delivered to every American on Snap. I actually think that's a good idea. Right. As long as you replace, all of these subsidies to sugary soda, to goldfish, Lunchables, whatever. Kids aren't eating Lunchables now. They eat Logan Paul's. I don't know what it's called, but that's my prime energy drinks, or all this other crap that they're eating at the grocery store. Unfortunately, though, that seems to be a dead end. Now it's just whether they get food or not. Right. It's very sad.
Yeah. No. This is hitting for people like right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So one more. What is it? It's October 29th. Their theory, by the way, I heard a theory yesterday I'll share with all of you. This is a little DC scooplet. There's a current theory from both the parties, apparently, that they want to make it so that Thanksgiving travel is as miserable as possible so that eventually people will care about the shutdown. So they're going to try and actually make the air traffic control situation go wild with TSA and everything.
Just what we need is people getting killed in air.
Yeah, the busiest day of the entire travel year. It's not that people would die, it's just there would be cascading delays throughout the system, make everybody miserable, and then millions of people would rise up and theoretically would blame one party.
Remember, that's what ended the last shutdown when
2018?
Yeah, the air traffic control, the head of the air traffic controller, not air traffic, the flight attendant union, Sarah, what's her name?
Nelson.
She came out and was like, you get a deal by Friday or we're going on strike. And they got
it again.
And they got a deal. Sarah Nelson has Sarah, where have you been? Sarah Nelson has been. I should not have forgotten Sarah Nelson's name because she was like being talked about as like a vice president.
I know. I remember her
a couple years ago.
We've interviewed her a million times here on the show. I remember her.
Sarah, come on, fly in and solve this thing for us.
Yeah, please put pressure on the system.
Last thing, people like SNAP benefits. Put up E6. Most recent poll. Americans oppose cutting food stamp benefits by 66 to 23. It's an overwhelmingly popular thing because it's like these are people with kids who are poor. They deserve to eat. That turns out to be something that the American people generally agree with.
What's the least popular welfare?
Let's see. What do we got here?
I'm actually curious. Oppose sending $45 billion to build and maintain migrant detention camps.
Yeah. Is that the least popular?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Migrant
Reducing
detention
federal
camps.
funding for food assistance to low-income households. So that's reducing federal funding. Extending tax cuts for single incomes above 400K. That is definitely form of welfare. That's true.
Here's the
Yeah.
here's the welfare they propose.
Yeah.
Extending tax cuts for business corporations. Yeah.
Extending tax cuts for single incomes above 400K. Who supports extending tax cuts for people?
The people making over 400K.
A single person making $400,000 a year? That's got to be what? In the top, that's easily a top 1% income. I'm talking about W-2 annual income. That's a lot of money.
That probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah, 29% support.
Statistically, 29% are not even making.
No, they're not.
Top
Nowhere close to it.
400K.
That's like some solidarity for the rich.
Yeah, that's like a 42K a year or W-2.
That's aspirational.
Like, it could be me.
Those people plan to be.
I mean, it could be you. It probably won't be us. But anyway, all right. Let's get to China. Ben Smith standing by. Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.